Can you hear me? Can you still hear me breathing? Yeah, not much I can do about the echo. It's just my room. Is that a little better? Alright, are you ready to start a voice call? If you're there. Can't hear me now? Alright, how about now? Huh. I'm trying to get this volume right so that, you hear me panting like a teenager in heat. Alright, I'm going to start up the voice chat. You ready? Hello?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hello. I've got a headset on, so that just like suddenly came out of nowhere. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
There seems to be a little bit of delay.
Yeah, probably about, 20 seconds or so? Maybe even a little more.
It's possible. Hang on, let me do a test. Have you got the volume on your computer? Because it could be that it's echoing through that, or echoing through the YouTube channel, or it could be actually. Hang on, shit. There. Right, can you talk to me now?
Yep.
Right, that's what it was. It was going through YouTube as well. I had YouTube on like an idiot.
I was going to say I have headphones in, so you shouldn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, that was my fault. It was picking it up off the microphone. Like a big old fool that I was. Okay, go test, dude. Let's see how it happens.
Alright, you got the chat up on your screen? Because I can't see it.
Yeah, I've got a chat on the right-hand side with Legorith Fibonacci in there. So a famous mathematician by the looks of things.
Oh. You got a link to the actual stream so I can see it?
Yeah. Let me just do that.
Oh, I got it.
Go away, fly. Yeah.
Let me
I put one in the main channel as well, and
do that.
I'll just put something up on you Facebook thing.
Well, I got it. I got it, Chris.
There we go.
Yeah, I got it on the main screen here.
Cool.
So I can see the chat.
Sunday afternoon, warm stream. Lovely.
Lovely jubbly. Okay, so what we're going to be working on today is I'm going to be doing some kit bashing.
Hooray!
Creating a kit bash, rather, for Greebles. So I can make big honking spaceships relatively easily.
All sounds good to me.
So,
Understand. Can I get out of the oven for it? Sorry about that. There's an argument about pizza going on. That all sounds good to me, old son.
ooh, pizza. I like it, the pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You wouldn't like this one. It's a vegan pizza.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. It's got to have meat on it.
I was going to say, even the jackfruit wouldn't fool you, dude.
Okay, so we got a couple of different categories that we're going to be working on. We got mechanical / electrical. It's going to be like pipes, vents, that sort of stuff. Each tier of Greeble is probably going to use parts from previous tiers. So we're basically starting very basic and then moving on up in complexity of shape and style, that sort of thing.
Yep. All sounds good to me. But then again, you know me, I do like Greebles a lot.
Greebles are good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I am a bit rusty at this. It's been a couple of years, so...
Well, no time like the present to shake off that rust in the Sunday afternoon warm streams from 3D Palace.
All right. So let's go ahead and we'll probably, what do you say, start with some vents. So let's go ahead and just start with a box. I think a box is good, right?
Have you got Max open? Because I'm only seeing your notepad at the moment.
Yep. Let me switch over to the main screen here.
I was going to say, because it's cool, we like it, but we'd probably enjoy the other thing a bit more. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we should see it now.
Yep, I can see boxes.
Box. Alright, so, basically it's just basic polygon modeling. That's all we're really going to be doing today, so... let's see, convert to an editable polygon. So, Chris, why don't you explain kind of what we're going to be be doing with this?
Yeah, not a problem at all. You get on with modeling, and I will explain what this is. So, if you're creating anything hard surface like spaceships, tanks, robots, anything at all, really, it makes it a lot easier if you're using a technique called kit bashing, which is a methodology that came up around about the time of, well, it was before Lucas's time, to be honest, but it's been used a lot by special effects houses. And the whole idea is that you've got yourself a nice big fat library of parts that you can reuse over and over again. Unlike traditional kit bashing, like you could only use the bit you were super gluing once, and then you will be able to use it again. But of course with 3D you can replicate your kit bash as many times as you want. And the benefit of that is that you can make really, really detailed objects really, really quickly. The downside to that is, though, that if you mismanage it, you can have an awful lot of polygons without realizing it. Like, an awful lot. So it's kind of balancing it, really. You want to make sure you get the detail you want, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of overload your model so much that it's basically not manipulatable. I mean, I did a couple of tests, must be last week or the week before, where I pulled out a big kit bash set and started putting together a simple walker piece. And I think by the time I'd finished the legs, it only took 20 minutes, but it was just unable to move. It was ridiculous. So is this going to be a panel then?
Yeah, it's going to be a panel that we throw on the side. But I'm going to be adding in some fins here in a second. Just want to get the basic shape down on it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's always better to get the shape together, really.
I'm working from the outside in. So when you're doing robots, you start from the foot and you work your way up. You start with the skeleton and then you put the muscles and the pistons and stuff in.
Yeah.
When you're working with a starship or you're working with a spaceship or even spaceship details, you kind of work from the outside in as opposed to the inside out.
Makes sense. I think that's the mistake I make when I've been making spaceships in the past, is that I tend to build them like robots. So I get caught up by the time I'm still on the engine. It's like 4 years later. So,
now, basically, I don't know if you guys have actually been watching. What I've been doing is just to make selection a little easier. What I've been doing is just selecting the face, because I want all the edges that are connected to that face. All I have to do is select the face that I want, go over to edges, hit Control, and then select that, and that leaves the edges selected.
Yeah, that is a damn handy shortcut.
So it's just, a little bit of a shortcut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw a connect in here. Okay, you can see it's kind of all wonky. We don't need that because we don't need these top edges. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of that. I want the side edges here, so we're going to have to get in here. And I'm going to click that one. And I'm going to control click that one just to get these side edges. And
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and run a connect through it. And I'm going to want quite a few connects just because it's going to make things a little easier. Each one of these boxes is going to end up being a vent face. Okay.
The more vents, the better. It makes it go faster.
So I'm going to go ahead and, I see 20 is probably good enough. We want to keep this, relatively low poly because it is just a detail piece. We're not really going to be getting in there and, looking at it real hard. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my polygon. And what I'm going to do is I want a inset, but I don't want the group. I want to inset them individually, so I should be able to...
Yeah, you can inset by polygon on the drop down.
Yeah, I'm looking for the... Here. There we go. So, turn this way down because it's way too much. Just fiddle with it a little bit here.
No, it's all part of the fun.
I'm still getting used to the new Macs.
It's like the old one in very many ways.
That should do it. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude these faces in a little bit. And that's basically it. You can see we got a nice little vent here.
Nice.
So all I got to do now is I need to grow my selection so that I get all of the edges I want. Again, hit Control on the edge face. And we're going to throw a little bit of a chamfer on there. And that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this down quite a bit. Because we don't need much. We just want to make sure that those edges don't look super sharp when we go to render.
Hell yeah.
And that's it. We got a nice little vent.
That's the first part of the Kitbash right there.
So, I mean, the other thing that we can do is obviously come over here and grab these four these four edges here. We're probably going to want to do a grow on them, but we don't want to add too many polygons to this because, as I said before, it's just a part of the overall experience, and we don't want to, So we do a loop on this, and that should bring it up to about here where the corner is. Now, doing it this way, we might get a little bit of artifacting in the corners, but it's going to be so small you're not going to see it. So
it'll be easy enough to get around.
Yeah, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You're going to notice it. You're going to notice it now because we're literally right on top of this thing.
I'll just go and quickly grab my coffee. Be about 1 minute.
Sounds good to me.
Keep doing stuff.
I'm doing the stuff. So that should be about this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rename this from box 1 to vent 01, just so that we can keep track of what's going on. And we're going to move on to the next part. So how about if we go back to our list here and bring that up so you guys can see what I'm doing. We got pipes, we got vents, we got tanks, we got ports, we got turbines, wiring, panels, fuse boxes, junction boxes. All kinds of good stuff that we can kit bash together and make other kinds of awesome stuff. So I'm thinking, if we go back to the main screen here, that if we start with another box. Okay. I don't know why Max insists on doing this. I don't want to assign random colors. I just want gray. Thank you. Alright. So, again, we have another box here. We're going to convert it to an edible polygon right away. And I'm going to grow it. And I'm going to hit Control I to select it inverse. And I'm going to delete the back-facing polygon. It's going to save us... Overall, that's going to end up saving us a lot of polygons in the end. So, if we go ahead and do that. Now, again, I'm going to want to chamfer the box. So, select face. I'm going to grow. I'm going to hit that. Oh, come on. Now you're not going to work, right? Alright, come on. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and grow it once. And I'm going to throw a quick chamfer on this. Not that much, obviously. Bring it down quite a bit. Coffee. Sounds really good, actually. Where have I been, Alan? Basically, after the, what was it, MT9, the radar set, I kind of got burnt out. I was dealing with everything getting pirated, and I just kind of lost the will to make tutorials because I was losing
that sounds pretty much exactly like my one as well.
Yeah, I was losing so much money to the pirates that I just didn't see the point. And then I was going through a bunch of personal stuff, so you know.
Yeah, unfortunately it happens.
So
But hey, you're back now and stronger than ever.
So we decided that we're going to be working on probably a wiring panel. So we're going to have some wires coming out of this.
Nice.
So I'm going to add in a couple extra boxes and some tings. So if we go over here, we're going to want a box. We should be able to. Let's see. Should be able to auto grid it. So we can add in a nice little sub box here. We might put some bolts or something on it. Let's go ahead.
Bolts are always good. A mainstay of 3D is the bolt.
Especially when you're dealing with mechs, right, Chris?
Oh, hells yeah.
Alright, so let's go ahead and grow this selection. I'm going to Control I, delete the back-facing polygon. Because again, we want to make sure that we are limiting the number of polygons we're using on these detail pieces.
Because they may be used a lot of times.
Yes, we're going to be using them quite a bit over the course of a project. So, again, we want to limit the amount of polygons that we're using. It's something that I've noticed is not being done a lot, and was one of the reasons that I got fed up, because I've been watching tutorials on YouTube, and
they're terrible.
The way that the kids are doing them nowadays, it's just, I hate to use the word, but it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty shabby, the state of tutorials. I mean, I stopped for about the same length of time as you did, pretty much, and apart from making the occasional Unreal Engine thing. And you come back to it and no one's done anything. They've not learned any new skills. It's just complete shit, quite frankly.
Well, it's not so much that they didn't learn any new skills, but they ain't even doing it right to begin with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sad, really. So.
Oh, yeah. Very.
Okay, so basically what we got now is we just got a panel, right?
Yep.
So how are we gonna make that into an electrical box? Well, electrical boxes got wires coming out of them, right? You'd assume. So if we come over here, we're gonna grab cylinder, we're gonna grab auto grid, and we're gonna put some wires coming out the bottom here. Now we're not actually gonna do wires. What we're gonna do is connectors, because wires, the best way to do wires has always been hoses, because you can get the bends and get the nice organic feel to the wire by using a hose.
There's a method you can use now as well that's relatively recent in Macs, which is you can use splines and you can link the vertexes to dummy controllers, but it's very, very heavy on the... if you're animating it, it's a very, very heavy procedure compared to just hoses. But the difference is that you can stick an edit poly modifier on, which you can't do with a hose very easily, unfortunately. Well, you can, but you can't move the hose afterwards. You know what I mean?
Right, you can't move the hose, but with this type of situation, you're really not going to be moving the hose after you're done with it.
Yeah.
If you see what I'm saying.
So, yeah, I know what you mean.
All right, let's go ahead and take the height side.
I was thinking from an animating point of view.
Right, but these parts aren't going to be animated.
Aren't going to be animated, no.
These are literally just detail pieces.
Yep.
Right? So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and grab... Now, see, we don't need that many ring segments either, so we can actually cut that down quite a bit. to say 12 or so. I want an up and down though, so I want a distinct up and down, which means that we're going to be even numbered. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I want to move this up a little bit to about there. Okay, so we are sticking out the bottom a little bit, but that's fine. And we're going to go ahead and convert this to an editable polygon. Okay, now we're going to do one of Chris's favorite techniques here. We're going to use the inset tool after I delete this back-facing polygon. And we're going to go ahead and grab this one, and we're going to use the, what was it? It was the bevel tool. So,
lovely, lovely bevel.
So we're going to bevel it out a little bit. Now remember, we're just making a connector. Okay, so we're going to come down a little bit. Come on, work with me. Nice and fiddly. Gotta love fiddly bits. Come out a little bit, because we want it to look kind of like a bolt. Right?
Yep.
And I'm going to flare it a little bit. I'm going to bring it out just a tad more. And I'm going to bring that in. Okay. And I'm going to bring that in like so. And that, my friends, is where the cables are going to plug into. That's it.
Nice.
That's basically it. Now we can just throw some chamfers on the edges. And just on the visible edges. We actually don't even really need this polygon inside. But that polygon is going to make it a little easier to place our hoses later if we decide to use them. So we'll leave it there for now. But what I am going to do is select this. And just go into select mode so I'm not moving anything. And ring it. No, we don't want to ring it. Okay. Just going to click out. We want to loop it. And we're going to go ahead and throw a quick chamfer on this one. I like doing my edges one at a time if I can, just so that I can get the chamfer right for what I'm looking for. There we go. Because all of them are going to have different chamfer levels. Eventually, you know, they're not chamfered the same here. So let's go ahead and turn this down. And then we're going to grab this one here and loop it. I know I didn't actually chamfer that one because I don't know. Do you think it needs it, Chris?
I don't know, dude. Maybe a teeny one.
All right. Well, we'll come back to it. We'll go ahead and do the base here real quick. We'll go ahead and give it a very, very small chamfer. I'm not going to do the bottom. We are going to do this one though because Chris said so.
Damn right. It's very subjective, really, though. I mean, it's up to you whether you think it's going to get a lot of eyeball time or not, really.
Well, it's just the angle on it. I don't really know. If we throw a mesh smooth on it, it'll help set the edge. But other than that, I don't really think it's needed.
Well, probably not.
But now we have that, so what we can do is just go ahead and go to here. We're going to go into element mode. I'm going to grab the move tool. I'm going to hit shift and I'm going to drag it along the axis. Yep. Forgot to do something. What did we forget to do, Chris?
Let me have a look. Did you... Oh, you didn't deselect that.
Yeah, we forgot to select it.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just going to clone it to an element and do it again. So now we got 3 of them, right?
Yep.
So now what I can do is grab all 3 of these and I'm going to put 3 more on this side. So hit shift, drag. We got 3 more on that side. Radio. Now what I can do is grab all 3 of these. Right? And this should put my cursor towards the center after Max catches up with us. You would think? Possibly, maybe.
Jeff says hello. He's in the chat.
Oh, hi, Jeff. How you doing? Long time, man. All right.
So does Alan. Alan also says hello.
Yeah, I saw Alan. I was actually trying to talk to him a little bit, but I was kind of focusing on what I was doing at the same time, which is why Chris and I have 2 people running the stream here. Alright, so I just rotated them. I'm going to put them up here on this side. And I'm going to line them up. And there you go. So now we got cables coming out the top and the bottom. We can do the same thing on the sides. It doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this box. So turn this off. So I can select this box. And I'm going to go over to my attach. I'm going to attach the whole shebang. So it is all now one piece. Okay? And we're going to rename this for naming convention. And we're going to call this...
Bloody hell.
We're going to call this Elec Panel 01. That way we can find it later if we need to. Now we can add bolts and stuff to this if we really wanted to. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do to this. We could add in, you know, Chris could probably take this into, what's that, Quixel? And add voltage signs and all kinds of stuff to it. But for our purposes right now, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
You know,
not bad at all.
What we could do is, if we really wanted to, if we really, really wanted to, we could take this. Come over here. No, I don't want both. I just want one. Why do we have both?
I think you might have attached them together.
Yeah, probably. All right.
Just do a Control Z and you'll detach it.
Yeah. Control Z, right?
Just keep going until it's not selected anymore.
There we go.
If it's not, just select the left one and just detach.
Okay, well, I don't want this to be that, so... where's my detach tool on this?
Select by element and then detach.
Yeah, it's been too long for this. Okay, and then we should be able to detach it, right? Why is this?
Oh, yeah. Just marquee select the entire piece. That's it.
Well, we have it selected.
And I think detach will be... Let me have a look. On the right, down. I'm not getting
there it is.
Good... Oh, you found it. Well done.
All right, so this was vent. This was a vent. Right?
Yep, detach.
01.
Just detach it without selecting anything.
Right.
That's it.
So now we have two different pieces. So what we can do is if we come over here and we select vent 01, we're going to need to go up here to hierarchy, effect pivot only.
Yep.
We need to center it back to our object, effect pivot only off, and now we can go back over here. So if we do, we can go ahead and shift it over, and we're going to create a copy just for now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shrink this down.
I see what you're doing.
Okay, and we don't need this one. So we can either leave it like so, or we can go ahead and move it this up to here. Give ourselves some vents on this particular cover.
Which makes a compound Kitbash object.
Right. So like I said, we're going to be making simple objects and then adding them to each other to make more complex objects.
Nice.
So then what we can do is we can go ahead and grab our electrical panel, go back into here, and make sure nothing is selected, please. Thank you. Because I don't want to have to start deselecting things again. Okay. And then we should be able to go to attach here and here. And that was all one piece.
That's excellent.
Electrical panel 01.
Right. I think that's a pretty darn good start.
So let's go ahead and move these things out of the way here.
I think that is a pretty darn good start to the Kitbash collection.
So, how long are we planning on streaming today, Chris?
That's up to you. We could either do it as a 30-minute test, or you can just keep going. It's up to you. If you need to keep going, I'm going to have to go and do something else for the minute, but I'll obviously stay on screen.
Oh, I'm fine for now.
Well, I'll leave you to stream for the time being, and I shall be around if you need me.
Okie dokie.
Okay, you guys, so where's the chat gone? Oh, it's vanished again. Okay, guys in chat, I shall leave you with Lee for the time being.
Let's see. Jeff said that his cat's fussing all over the place. Hey, Jeff, how your kids doing, man? Alright, let's go ahead and start with something else. I want to do a couple of tanks here real quick. So, if we come over here, we're going to go to Object Type. And we want Extended Primitives. And we're going to go ahead and do an oil tank. And we're going to just, drag it out. And there we go. We want a nice capsule shape to it. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate that down. Oop. Let's go ahead and angle snap this here. Where's my angle snap? Angle snap. Alright, 90 degrees, please. Thank you. Getting way too big for their britches. Yeah, I can bet. Kylie just graduated high school over the winter, and she's actually going to mechanic school to learn how to be a mechanic. It's kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and convert this to a editable polygon, as Chris would say. And I'm definitely going to want these. And let's just put that there. And let's go ahead and, can we loop it? No, we don't want to loop it. We want to ring this one. Alright, we're going to throw some connects down. So, no pinch. Connect. So, there we go. That'll work. So if we go ahead and deselect that, I'm going to want this one, and I want this one. And let's go ahead and loop it. And I'm going to throw a chamfer on it. About like so. Let's see. Oh, you're working with Unity, Chris? Jeff? Yeah, I haven't really messed with any of the game engine stuff. That's Chris's deal. So if you got questions about the game engine stuff, you should probably wait for Chris to get back. But you can tell me about the Unity thing. Like I said, I've never really worked with it. All right, let's go ahead and we're just gonna do a very simple kind of thing here. So I'm going to grab that. Oh, you're working on a game of your own? Yeah, I think I saw something about that on your Facebook thing, right? So we're going to want to put a nice pipeline from Max to Unity, huh? Or Unity to Max. And one of the things that I actually want to cover in the streams is going to be some game modding. Because I still play a lot of Skyrim. I play a lot of modded Skyrim. And I'd like to actually, write a couple of mods for Skyrim where I incorporate some models. I think that would be kind of fun. So basically all I'm doing is I'm grabbing these faces here. 3D modeling or coding. Oh, are you on Twitch or are you on, you running YouTube? Okay, so then we got these. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run an extrude. And obviously we don't want to do this. We want to do by local normal. We're going to bring these way down. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to grab these two faces. And these two faces. And I'm going to use my select. And I'm just going to scale them along the Z-axis to make sure oh, sorry about that. Coughing fit. Didn't think you guys wanted to listen to me cough. So, well, you stream on Twitch. You tried multi-streaming, but YouTube never really got it done, huh? That's kind of weird. I don't know. I've never been one for streaming. This is kind of a new thing for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this and I want to scale along the x-axis. I want to bring this out just a tad. Just like so. Nice little simple tank. We don't really need these there anymore. And what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and of course we want to chamfer things out. So I'm going to throw a uniform chamfer on this. Let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to want to throw a uniform chamfer on this here. Let's see. It's basically just agreeable. At this point, it can be used for anything. Depends on what we decide to add it to later, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, you know, we can shrink it down, throw it on a couple of different, you know, panels with some other detail pieces and make it an O2 recycling tank, or, you know what I mean? It's just a very, at this point, it's just a very basic detail piece that we're going to end up using to add complexity to something else. So let me go ahead and I want to loop these just so that I can get the edges that I need. I need this edge here too, and this edge. I want to come around and make sure that I got this edge here and this edge here. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw a chamfer on this. Not that big of a chamfer, obviously. We're going to kick it up just a couple points here, just to make sure that we got a nice hard edge if we decide to throw a smooth on this. And boom, there you go. Now, one other thing that we can do is if we decided to, we can go back over here to our panel and we can take one of these little pieces off of here and throw it on the end of each one of these tanks, just to add connections to it, or even on the side if we really wanted to. I mean, we can do all kinds of cool things with this. But I think we're going to leave this part for now. What we are going to do is we're just going to call it tank. And we're going to call it basic tank 01. And just kind of leave it there for now and move on to the next piece. So we can do some basic pipes. You already have a fusion box / junction box. We have a bunch of square pieces. We don't really have a whole lot of circular pieces. Maybe we should look into doing something like that, huh? So if we come over here, go back to standard primitives, we're going to want, let's go with a cylinder. And we're going to go ahead and just pop this thing out right here. Make it relatively large. And I'm definitely going to want to increase the size on this because it's a larger object. But again, we want to keep the sides even, so we have a clear hemisphere if we want to cut it. Let's see. You haven't modeled anything sci-fi in a while? Been working on medieval fantasy? Yeah, like I said, I wanted to get into Skyrim modding and modeling. So that's probably something we're going to be touching on my weekends for streaming, because Chris and I are talking about alternating who's going to be working on modeling for each stream. We're thinking we're going to try to stream every Sunday, but like I said, it's something that we got to work out here in the near future. But for now, you got me. Haha. So let's go ahead and convert this to an editable polygon. And again, I'm going to grab this top face. I'm going to grow it. I'm going to Control I. I'm going to delete that back facing polygon because we don't need it. And we're going to grab this face here, and let's just go ahead and do a simple bevel. Move it up a little bit. And I want to bring this in pretty much entirely like so. Move it up a little bit. I'm going to move it in, move it up, move it in just like so. And then I'm going to bring it up like this. And that's going to be about the gist of what we're going to do with this particular part currently. Now, we can use this and this to make some very, very complex greebly type things if we wanted to connect them with cables and things like that. So what I'm going to want to do eventually here is I want to grab some of these parts and I'm going to move them over. So if I go ahead and turn this off, I want this part here. And I want to grab element. I'm going to put it on the bottom. So let's go ahead and just grab this one here. I want to shift, move it over, and I want to clone it to an object. And we're just going to leave it as object 01 because we are going to be connecting it. So if I come back over here and I turn this off so that I can select different objects. I want to affect its hierarchy, a pivot, center it to the object. I'm going to turn the affect pivot off and grab my object and move it into place like so. And we should be able to zoom into it, zoom out a little bit, and there we go. So I can move this up a little bit and move this in. Just want to line it up. There we go. So if we go here, we can move this in a little bit. Now, if we want, what we can do is come back over here to hierarchy. We want to affect its pivot, and we want to align it to an object, say this object here, right? So if we turn affect pivot off, when we go to make copies of said object, okay? Oh, it didn't work. Affect pivot only. Let's see. Align to object. This object, right? Because that's the way it used to work. Affect pivot off. Yeah, see, it didn't work. Affect pivot only. Center to object. This object. Okay, there we go. Now we got it, right? Hopefully. No, didn't work. Okay, I don't know. It's being a pain in the butt. Usually what we can do is we can work the center or the pivot for this object to the center of this object. So, oh, sorry, Jeff. I'll see you later, bud. And it seems that chat has gone dead again. So, I don't know how much longer we're going to be streaming, because it seems we don't have a chat. Righto. Interesting. Well, I'll go ahead and stream for a little bit longer. We'll go ahead and go for an hour. And then, yeah, we'll call it a day there, I guess. So, I'm going to go ahead. And since this doesn't want to work for me and Chris has disappeared on me. Working pivot. Alright, effect pivot only. I want to align to, or center to object, this object, right? Effect pivot off? No. Why are you no working? Ah, phooey. Alright, edit working pivot? What's this do? Working pivot. Cancel. Control Z. Make it not do stupid things. Why? Just why? Okay, I'll turn this off. Edit the working pivot. Should be centered to the object, please. Alright, that's pretty centered. Ish. So if we rotate it, shift, and we can rotate it around. And do that, and then, I don't know, maybe do 3 copies. And there we go. A lot of futzing around to get that right, but, you know, hey, like I said, it's been a couple of years. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab this. I want to go ahead and throw some chamfers on this. Just because. And I'm going to start with this and turn this off. And go here. And let's throw a quick chamfer on you. Obviously not that much. That'll work. Alright, and I'm going to grab this one and do the same thing. Let's see. Loop. Now, one thing that I do want to do is I want to bring this in a little bit, so I'm going to chamfer it. Okay. But then I'm going to go ahead and grab polygon. And I'm going to shrink just so that I have those polygons there, and I'm going to go ahead and throw an extrude on this, but I want by local normal, and I'm going to bring that in just a tad so that it looks like that is basically sitting on top of there. So we can zoom in a little bit. So you can see now we have that nice little, you know, sitting on top deal. So let's go ahead and grab this edge. So we have the edges now, right? Yes. Okay. And we can go ahead and throw a quick little chamfer on that. I know it's getting a little fiddly, but, you know, hey. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to this one, and we'll do this one at the same time. So hit Control. You probably get away with doing the rest of these here too. Control, Control, and throw a chamfer after we loop them. And that looks good. We'll go ahead and kill that. Alright. So I think that'll about do that. We'll go ahead and rename this whole thing. We'll go ahead and rename this whole thing. Oh, let's go ahead and attach these. Okay. And we're going to name this, how about a junction box? Or, yeah, a junction box. That'll work. And we'll call it O1. And that'll be that. Boop. So, as you can see, our Kitbash is getting there. So, that's a thing. Alright. And we got, I don't know, about 10 minutes left on the stream. So what else can we do with this? Well, if we want, we could go ahead and make a copy of this. So if I want to make, say, a copy of this, right? And we'll go ahead and just make a flat out copy. And I want a copy of this. Oop. Okay. How do we turn that off? There we go. And I want you. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, probably. Good. Right on, right on. Now we can go in here and we can actually make these the same size as these again. Just by going to here, here, and scaling those up. Whoop, don't do that. Connect, you and you. Should be in element select mode. There we go. And I'm just gonna make them a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna drag them out a little bit. There we go. Good to go. All right. Now they're the same size again. So what we're gonna want to do is come over here and go to extended primitives. Was it extended? Yes, hose. We're going to hose it. Okay, we got auto grid on, so we can come over here and auto grid it right off of here. Moving on out. Ah, Chris, you're back.
Hey, dude. Sorry about that. I'm having to dash around the place because I've got kids over and it's just been a little bit chaotic. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it happens.
Hey, it's going well anyway. I've been watching in the background whilst I've been doing stuff, and I can see that you're hosing the thing together now, so that's cool.
Yeah, we're doing a hose primitive. See if I can remember how to do this.
It all comes back. It's probably easier. I mean, it's up to you. You can either do it from the geometry as the top and bottom point, or you can create two dummies and link it to the dummies. The dummies are normally slightly easier. That's my preference, but it's entirely up to you the way you do it.
So we'll go ahead and see what we can figure out here. Let's see, bound object to primitive or pivots, right?
Yeah, you want to bind it to
pick the top would be here.
Yep, that's it.
Pick the bottom would be, say, here. And obviously, since it's all one piece, that's not quite where we want to be. So, that being said, what we need to do is we're going to
bind itself automatically to the object pivot, as I recall, won't it?
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to move this out of the way for right now. Okay?
Yep.
And I'm going to create just a standard primitive. I'm going to come over here and create a box.
Cool.
Inside. here. And 1, 2, 3. Which one, Chris?
3.
3? Alright, so we're going to take it to this outside one here.
Yep.
Okay, so now we have these 2 boxes. Yep.
Yep.
So I'm going to connect. I'm going to come over here. Let's see. I want this one and this one. And this. And I want to hide unselected so that we can work with just this. Come over here. I'm going to move this back and try to connect it as best as I can to about here. Come over here, and we want to bound it to here, and pick bottom object, bound to here, and we get this. So obviously we're going to need to adjust tensions. So if we turn the tension way down,
whoa, that's a lot of tension.
Yep, we're going to turn the tension down. We're also probably going to need to affect a pivot.
Yeah, or you could just rotate the box object.
Yeah, we could do that too. But let's have a look at it with everything unselected or everything unhid again, so you can see exactly what we're looking at here. So, first and foremost, let's see here. Got enough segments, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it looks like it's got plenty.
Okay, so we just need to rotate this way.
Let's have a look. Where are we?
No, not really. Not feeling it.
No, don't rotate the hose. Rotate the object.
The box, yeah. Yeah, you would be correct, sir. Well, we just got to find it again.
Yeah. It'll be in there somewhere.
Yeah, we got him. All right. There we go. That's what Daddy likes to see. All right. We come over here.
There it is.
Zoom in so we can kind of see what's going on. Little fiddly, but we like fiddly.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we can go ahead and grab that box there and then move you. Whoa, hey. How about you rotate along the axis I want you to? There, buddy. All right, so now we got a kinky hose. It's kinky.
Cool.
All right, so again, we're going to want to adjust tensions and things. Okay, turn it down just a tad. And this turn down. All right. Flex is good, right? We want to get rid of, yeah, that's what we want. We want to get rid of that nasty lumpiness. We don't need that. That's garbage. It's garbage.
Garbage.
It's garbage. All right, so if we come over here, this top tension's still a little too much. I don't want the bend there. I want the bend to be a little bit further up. And we can actually turn that bend a little bit down, a little bit more. So we got a little bit more natural of a position on it, just like so.
Yep.
And that's about that. Now what we can do is, again, since we're probably going to need to move the whole thing over a little bit, but this pipe is basically done. We're done messing with it. We just need to position it at this point. So we can just go ahead and move it over. So that's a little bit more centered. Like so. Now if this bottom part didn't want to center up, which it kind of doesn't, but if it didn't want to center up, what we can just do is, like we did before, just move the object that it's bound to, and it'll straighten up and fly right. But
Yeah.
that looks pretty good for our purposes. So, I
Looks
think
good.
that's about it. Now,
Nicely done.
the other thing that we could do, just to make it line up a little bit better, actually we don't need to make it line up better, we just need to make it fit a little bit better, is we can go convert to editable polygon. And you can see that it's basically just the end here that's connecting into the pipes that are giving us a little bit of overlap that we don't like. So if we hide everything that's not selected, okay, come over here, you notice, oh, what's this? There's polygons on the end. We can grow. And we can actually just use a very simple trick to shrink it down a little bit. Grow. And shrink it down just a tad.
Cool.
So, when we unhide everything, right? Unhide all. Oh, gee, look at that. It fits just right. And it looks like it's actually connecting in there.
Nice.
See? Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to hide the unselected again because there's one thing that we really, really, really need to do. Since this part is basically done. And Chris knows what's coming.
I'm just watching and enjoying.
And
Get rid of them dead polys.
And, yep, getting rid of the dead polygons that we don't need because nobody's ever going to see them. Okay, and unhide all. So, basically that's the gist of that. We can grab this part. I'm going to grab any part, really. And just, you know, connect everything together. So if we go to, where are you? We're going to want element select. And we're going to attach part A and part B. Done. Yay!
Hooray.
And instead of calling it hose, we can just call this, I don't know, electric or elect underscore panels underscore 01.
Science thing.
Or 02. We'll call it, you know, panels 02 because this is technically panel 01. There you go.
What? I'll put them through.
And that's basically the gist of that.
Good going. You going to do another piece?
We can. We got time for one more, I guess.
Sure thing. I'm just going to throw some laundry on because I've been told to put some laundry on. So I'll be back in just a moment.
Alrighty.
The life of a serious artist never ends.
That's right. Hey, if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Just keep that in mind.
You are so right.
Alright, is anybody actually still in the chat, or are we by ourselves here? I don't see anybody chatting. Hey, if anybody's in the chat, you know, feel free to jump in here, because science and stuff. You know, it's all good. Just putting that out there. Say hi. Because, you know, we all love modeling by ourselves. So much fun. Alright, we can do one more, I guess. Let's see. We've been working on electrical stuff. Well, let's just do some simple pipes, I guess. So, some very simple piping slash, you know, conduits, electrical conduits type of thing. So, if we start with, say, a cylinder, and we go over here. Okay, zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Right on, right on. Let's see, go ahead and rotate this. You know what, it'd probably be easier just to work on it vertically for now. Let's go ahead and I'm going to convert this to an inevitable polygon. We're going to go ahead and delete the back facing polygon because we're not going to need it. Grow, Control I and delete. And let's go ahead and grab this face here, and we're basically just going to do some bevels. Right? Right. So, bring it up, and we're going to do a connection. So we want bring you in just a tad. We are doing this a little fiddly, but that's fine. Right. I'm going to move this out. And we're going to do another connection. Move this down so I can see what I'm doing. Move it in. Oop. Right. We want a 0. And an out. And an up. Okay. That should get us there. And we're going to do one more up and flare it just a tad. And we're going to go ahead and bring it up. And then that's it. And we're going to delete that. Now, why for did we do this? I will show you. If we grab this and we make 1, and we're going to do, say, 3 more. And it's going to give us 4 pipes. Right? Come over here, grab this, and we're going to want to grab all of them. Now, the order that we do this does matter because it'll affect the pivot, but we can always fix that later when we can center the pivot to object, so it's not that big a deal. What we are going to do is attach, and we're going to attach all of these. Right. Turn that off, and we're going to rotate the whole thing. Now I do want to affect the pivot, and I do want to center the pivot to object. Okay. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to move the pivot down. Nope. I want to move the pivot down. Down, please. So that it's at the base. Okay? This is just going to make rotating the whole thing just a tad simpler currently. Now we can affect pivot off and we just rotate this here. Down 90 degrees so that we have a flush set. Okay? Now, if we wanted, we could take one of these, if not, multiple of these parts and put them together into something else. Like, say, if we were to take this and move this over a little bit so we can work. I want to take this and I want to move this up to, say, here. Okay. Vent. Now, obviously, a vent needs something feeding into it to vent out. Yes? Correct? One would assume. Now, this is obviously pretty poly heavy. I could have made this a lot less sided, but I was kind of in a hurry. And we might redo this at another time, but for demonstration purposes, this works well enough. Okay, and then shift, bring it down. And that'll do. And then what we could do is come over here and grab this part and drag this up. Okay. And move you over and up. And I'm going to want to rotate this whole thing so that we have this. Okay. And what we can do is either scale this down to match this scale or scale this up to match that scale. Again, we're going to scale it up a little bit here so that it's roughly the same. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to line this up to about there. So what we can do then is grab these and move these down to about here and do the same thing. So what we're going to do is we basically want to connect these to those. Now, they're not going to be all one piece, obviously, so we can grab this, move you up a little bit, just so that it kind of fits. You know, this is kit bashing, guys. This is what kit bashing is, making parts work that you have on hand. So, grab this, and let's go ahead. We only have 3 connectors, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of the 4th piece because we don't need it. I'm sorry if they got a little loud. Come over here. Come over here. And obviously we don't need you, and we don't need you, so we can go ahead and delete these. Well, we'll get this set up first then. Okay. Move this one. No, not you. You. Over to here. Roughly. Okay. Now, if we come over here, we can see we got some overlap, and it's actually pretty decently sized. It's actually just about right. But what we could do is take the whole thing and scale it down so that it fits inside so we don't have the overlap. Right? Just like so. And then I can take this whole thing here and I can move that inside there. Okay, so that's not working because we need a connection here to stop it from pulling where we don't want it to pull. So if we do a ring, we can do a connect, just a simple connect. We can come over here and that'll form a stop break so that it's not pulling the whole thing. Okay? And there we go. We have our connection. Right? So, with that being said, I can go ahead and I can take this piece. Oop. I can take this piece and detach them. And we're just going to call these pipes 01. Click OK. And we can actually move these out of the way and keep our original pipes in place. So we can delete these because we don't really need those either. So we have these are pipes. We have these are not pipes, we don't need. Okay, let's go ahead and take these and we're gonna move these out of the way and put those back over yonder. And we can actually use those at some other point too. Okay, right on. So let's go ahead and grab this and we're gonna just move this part. This one here, we can just move it in so that it connects properly. Like so. Okay. And let's go ahead and grab this part here. And again, what we can do is just, you know, copy these over so that they fit. Naming convention on these copies is not all that important because we're just going to end up connecting them to the main part anyway. So let's go ahead and grab all of these, shift and drag, line it up somewhat, and go like that. Boom, done. There we go. Another kitbashed kitbash. Right? Starting a little grid here. And that's basically how we're going to kitbash these pieces together to make more complex greebles. Right on, right on. So if we grab this, this is panel, look panel 03. We're going to call it look panel 03. And we're going to go ahead and attach this, 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 and this. Right. All right, there you go. Okay. That being said, I think that's about it for today, guys, because I really have to use the bathroom. And we've done quite a bit today, so yeah, I think that'll about do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, go ahead and drop us a like. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And Chris and I will be talking to you all later. So, until then, bye-bye.